Lemuel Haynes, 1753 to 1833. Lemuel halted at the edge of the field, wiping sweat from his brow. He rested wearily against the plow that was secured to the yoke of oxen standing in front of him. The oxen were exhausted, too. Sweat glistened on their sides in the afternoon sunlight. This first day of June was hotter than usual for Massachusetts, and Lemuel's strength was drained by his long day working under the sun. It was often tiring to be an indentured servant on Deacon Rose's family farm. Lemuel looked up again to the western horizon. The ominous clouds he had seen a few minutes earlier were getting closer and darker. Based on past experience, Lemuel figured he had about 20 minutes to get the oxen and equipment put away before the storm broke. "Come on, Abner. Get up now, Joab." Lemuel coerced the 2 oxen toward the rugged barn on the other side of the property. As they drew near the barn, he unhitched the yoke from the plow. Leaving the plow to rest in the grass outside, he led the yoke of oxen together into a shady corner pen in the barn, carpeted with fresh straw. Lemuel looked out the window just as the dark clouds blotted out the light of the sun. The leaves of the trees began to rustle wildly as the storm drew nearer. He fumbled around, trying to take the yoke off the necks of the oxen in the dim light. Finally, he succeeded in his task. He slung the heavy yoke up on one shoulder and climbed carefully over the gate of the pen to put the yoke away. By this time, thunder rumbled with increasing frequency and intensity. Lemuel laid the yoke in its proper place and ran to the door of the barn, hoping to beat the rain. Right as he came to the door, a terrifying flash of light filled the sky. Lemuel dropped to his knees and covered his eyes. Stunned and trembling, he thought, if the fearsome attack of this thunderstorm is just a small part of God's normal working, how terrible must the final judgment of God be against sinners? Lemuel immediately thought back to a similar event that had happened several years before. While Mr. and Mrs. Rose had been away from the house, a storm just like this had unexpectedly broken over the forests and fields, shrouding the land in deep shadow. The rain had pelted the ground without mercy. The fire of heaven had filled the sky. The crack of thunder had shaken the earth as though it could dislodge its inhabitants. That lonesome, fearful evening was the first time that Lemuel had understood the reality of God's power and judgment. Lemuel once again trembled at the solemn reality of God's wrath as he stood a moment longer in the doorway of the barn. A straggling chicken scrambled across the yard to the chicken coop as a wall of rain swept across the farm. Lemuel took a deep breath and dashed through the pounding rain to the back door of the house. He ducked quickly inside and clambered into a back hallway of the house, dripping water. As he paused to catch his breath, Mrs. Rose came out of the kitchen to welcome him. "Lemuel, so glad you made it in. I was concerned you'd be caught out in the field. The rainstorm came up so quick." Mrs. Rose came and put a motherly arm around Lemuel's shoulder and gave him a gentle squeeze. She didn't mind the damp imprint he left on her blouse. "Ma'am," Lemuel stated, grateful for Mrs. Rose's gentle care. She was the closest thing to a mother he'd ever known. He paused, his mind still racing with thoughts of God's holy dominion. "The Lord hasn't brought the end yet. I suppose there's still time for an unworthy sinner like me to find Jesus." Mrs. Rose took a step back and looked thoughtfully into Lemuel's eyes. "Lemuel, we're real grateful to have you in the home. Mr. Rose and I are so glad that the Lord opened the way for you to come and help out round here. He doesn't make mistakes. Just seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. I trust the Lord has a good plan for you." "I hope so, ma'am." Lemuel nodded with a grateful smile and trundled off to his bedroom to gather some dry clothes. Once he had changed, Lemuel settled into his favorite corner by the chimney to read by the light of the fire.